A prostitute work there be some work will be spiritual work.
But it's not a job. But I wanted money. That's why I'm working.
Wobɛhu kyɛ sɛ nkwalaa ketekete like 8 years 10 years 12 years na ɔbɔ ahyɛwo. Ebia na wahyɛ no kɔndɔm ɔno ɔno ɔyɛ no bia kɔndɔm no bɛpɛ wosu nnim ɔno nso ɔnka nkyerɛ sɛ bia kɔndɔm apa.
Prostitution, the oldest profession known in the history of mankind. It is, however, unacceptable in many traditions and cultures all over the world. It is the exchange of sexual acts for money. In the colonial days, men who visited the brothels usually paid 2 pence for one round of sex. As the practice of paying 2 pence for sex became common, people began to call those areas two line and call the sex workers two. My name is Favor Nunu, and here on Hotline, I want to take you on a journey through the stories of some child sex workers who roam the dark corners of the streets of Accra and rail stations offering sex for money. Their lives, fears, and hopes as they trade their pride to escape illiteracy, poverty, the harsh reality of bad parenting, and a society which no longer cares about what happens to the most vulnerable population. To get more information, I am planting a young lady undercover as a child sex worker. This was the first step at getting to know more about the operations of these girls without raising suspicion.
People that's just ignorant and scared of the truth. We patient.
Along the railway lines, I saw over 100 girls, underage girls. They were dressed indecent, to specify short, short, straight dresses. But in order to attract clients, they dance sexually, trying to arouse the men around to just to get customers. I saw over 100 girls there. There were also over 100 guys there. Half will be younger than 18, and then the other half will be older than 18. That's those older than 18 usually are those in charge of the drinking spots, the girls, the condoms, and the rooms, the wooden structures over there. There are some structures over there, wooden structures, rooms. Um, they are charged 20 cedis and 15 cedis per night. It depends on the room. 20 cedis has a fan, a carpet, and a bed. Then 15 cedis has the bed and then the carpet, but no fan. I met a lady there called Beatrice, very friendly lady. Um, she tried telling me, advising me on. She tried telling me about the rules and regulations over there, the do's and the don'ts. Over there, everybody has a boyfriend who is practically the protector of the girl. Yes, and you should dare not go near any of the girl's boyfriend because if you are found with the boy, the girl could either use blade to deform your face or hurt you anywhere, or just use a sharp object to stab you. So she even tried giving me a boyfriend over there whom she says is her brother, whom is a driver, drives to Kumasi and back to Accra. So what I discovered whilst undercover was that the ladies always make sure they carry sharp objects with them, and even if they don't have such objects on them, they make sure they get one when they are in the hotel room just to protect themselves from their clients.
One thing became apparent. Most of these girls come from Kokumba, a slum in Accra. Kokumba as a melting pot functioned as a squatter camp for displaced Kokumbas. But today, it has become a township with many different people trying to find space they can call home. For many of these folks, poverty is a daily reality.
Some bankum 1Z alias unlooking. I got some of the Okumu Diate. Oh, what love we you. Oh, my, oh, Kumundia pa.
Moro is a tough cookie who lives in Kokumba and knows the slum very well. He has lived here for a long time and understands how people here survive.
You know the prostitute work there be some work will be spiritual work because once you the lady you have dressed that you are going to make the prostitute because of his dawn time. The person who's come to pick you don't know say he be human being or he be good person or anything way. So if they pick you because of the money, some will come to you if you mention 1 million, he will not tell you say reduce because of you know what is in his mind. He will just tell you let's go. In the end of the day, you go to him and what he have, you do it. Now none of the days there was no good cry, no good. I don't go lie you. 13, 14, 12 young girls. Let's take it. They have to be in school, but they are making prostitute. In the night, around 6 to 7, if you go railways, you will go and see them a lot. Small girls. Some will bring his boy. If you go one shot, you take the money, you bring the money to his boy. Then he could come and stand again. If you go, you take the money, can't give him boy. Some too is there. If they go, he come house with the money no plenty, and boy go beat am. Say why today you go no get money. The girls now at Konkoma, me what I know, we have to make something to help them because the prostitute work is two things: either you spoil or you die.
Residents pay a minimum fee of 10 cedis every day for a room, making a monthly total of about 300 cedis for a single room, usually made of substandard material with corroded roofing sheets and sometimes with poor ventilation. There are no proper toilets or bathrooms here. Voice in Baroba, popularly known as the street president, tells me the cost of living in the slums has pushed most of them into all sorts of deviance. Most of the young men here are boyfriends to these teenage sex workers, operating as pimps, forcing them out to sell sex for money.
So nneɛma bi wɔ hɔ na ade wo bɛkɔ hyɛm a Ghana ha biribiara yɛ sikasɛm. So ebia ebɛtumi wode show ba na wode wo bɛkɔ hyɛm obi ehu sɛ wo so woyɛ biribi no. Deɛ wɔde wo bɛkɔ anim na ɔnni hɔ. Woa na wobɛkɔ kurom, woa nso na wɔsa apɛ di, woa na bɛsɛ ato ahye na ase nso ɛwɔ no. Sɛ yɛnnim mmoa biara nti ama boys no bebree obi wɔ hɔ koraa na deɛ ɔde bɛdi nti ohu obiara deɛ ɔbɛfa. Yɛnya mmoa nso a saa line yi nyinaa ɛnyɛ yɛ line. So yɛwɔ niggas wɔ ase obi mu yɛ bɔbɔ ebi mu to nnwom ebi mu rap dancers nyinaa wɔ wood wɔ mu baayɛ sɛ mmoa no a yɛnya no ntama obiara de n'adwene na ɛnam yɛwɔ different levels a boys so yɛyɛ wɔ ha yɛyɛ dɛ ɛnyɛ sika dididi ba yɛnya mmoa deɛ a kabae anaa yɛnya baabi a ɛbɛda free koraa na yɛntu ahwere koraa na ɛno koraa boa ase ɛdan no ɛwɔ mu no hwɛ sɛ nsuo tɔ koraa niggas egu a yɛnni baabi a ɛte nye sika ɛdan kɔ abɛkɔ akɔda mu koraa ɛbɛka gye sɛ 20 Ghana obi a wo ebi a meka sɛ kɔ atadeɛ hyɛ wo koraa wantɔ ndu 10 cedi na wokɔ akɔda kɛkɛ ada asɔle na wotua 20 Ghana wo sɛ ntumi yɛ yi kama niggas bebree na abɔne bebree I still for Kumasi and I come Accra here still and I hold gun to before. You know we say 1 gun, 2 gun. I know how to fix gun self. Right now I stop it. If somebody self will take me mechanic to make gun for him, I can do it. I'll steal car before.
What again you do? You rob like shop or something. Talk.
I rob shop before. Like I rob house before. I get sponsorship. I go do something with the people to go know say the youth. We are better. We are not a bad boys.
But in a place where poverty is pervasive, child sex work becomes an avenue for generating revenue. It's about 11 a.m. in Kokumba, and I find that many of the young men in this slum are Okada drivers. While speaking to them, a young girl in miniskirt walks past. I called her attention and initiated conversation. I keep wondering why a teenager is roaming the streets instead of being in school at this time.
It's too bad. Just because I want money to continue on my school. That's why I came in work here. But although my parents not around, that
And so, what do you do here?
just a prostitute.
What happened? What happened before finally you had to resort to prostitution?
My friend brought me here, but shall go back to Kumasi.
You want to put money together to be able to go back to school. When did you leave school?
Almost 1.5 year.
At which level? SS or JHS?
I complete Jesus. It's not a job, but I wanted money. That's why I'm working.
What do you want to be in future?
A bank manager.
Me may not be able to save enough to cover the rest of her education and fulfill her dream of becoming a banker. 2 weeks after publication of this story on Joy News, I received a call from Dubai. A man claimed he had lost his daughter for years and explained once he heard the voice on Facebook, he was quite sure that was his daughter. The case of his missing daughter raises questions about the possibility of some families unaware of the life their kids are involved in on the streets.
Discovering the world before this world, a world buried in time.
Prostitutes in Ghana are considered to either be seaters or roomers. Seaters are loosely organized group of women or girls who tend to work from a common compound, attracting customers by sitting in the doorway of their rooms. They typically report to an older, retired sex worker who settles disputes and raises credit if one of the women must pay a police fine, for example. In the Kokumba slum, I asked around for an older lady who was once a sex worker. After several failed efforts, I finally came across one lady who opened up about her past.
Nkwadaa nketenkete a wokɔ beebi anim hɔ beebi yɛfrɛ no kɔnkɔnsaba like wokɔ hɔ a ɛbɛyɛ kakra no wobɛhu kyɛ sɛ nkwadaa nketenkete like 8 years 10 years 12 years na ɔbɔ ahyɛwo because of the obedie nti efie no ankasa ne maame abo no saa ebi ade kakra a ɔyɛ na yɛtia nti ebi kura na ɛnyɛ ne maame nkyɛn na ɔyɛ de ɔte obi nkyɛn nso the way me papa wuyɛ no ogyaa me maame mesoa no wantete me yie otumi kɔ private wɔ otumi kɔ private na ɔde ama me sɛ menkɔtɔ ntwene mesua me papa ewu a yɛde ne abama ne maame ba ɔno na ne maame no enyi ɔno na ɛtete me wantete me tete pa otumi ma ɛkɔm de me metumi kɔ makɔ school aba na ɔsɛ me da no menda na ɔsɛ me di ɔsɛ me sa so aduane ekɔ ekyir ahomakye 4 o'clock mesɔre kɔ sogya baa ne gya no me akwadaa ketewa mesɔre kɔ sogya nsamadwale na ma di bɛyɛ 12 years saa time no mesɔre kɔ sogya na ma baa no gya edinya report ketewa me sogya no wi ama sa de gya sisi so report sisi daresan esisi so asa nsuo agum ansa adeɛ bɛkyɛ bɛyɛ 6 o'clock ansa ɔmo abɛba abɛyɛ aduane because school minya tam nsua adeɛ tam a yɛbɛsua adeɛ no mekɔda ɛbɛbɔ 12 o'clock na makɔ makaranta nti makaranta na menkɔ school yɛde me kɔ because time a mede bɛkɔ na mede akɔda menkɔ school mede kɔda video dɛm meda hɔ a me maame wɔ Kumasi na yɛde me kɔɔ North me a na medwane kɔɔ Kumasi me maame nkyɛn And no one because the way I know what to tell me, no one to tell me, let me join the come, mammy, no, me, mammy, make cocoa to mammy, and I say, no, who said the hair, yes, she, yet I won't say, and I'm dear Johnny Abba, Accra.
Fumbisi is overwhelmed by emotions as she soberly shares snippets of her past. She manages a bar where other young girls sell sex.
Brabo no epia wo pa because emma nsɔhwɛ wɔ hɔ epia wo pa ma wa try say wobɛyɛ ahyawda
My bida, Ajay,
yɛ na epia wo a wokɔ hyɛ mu
yo, Satam, na me pay yanto, obi betobi, metobi. Wow, nti ne Satam, na mammy, yes, come on, oh, my brabo. I see, and my wound say, or bows, I will never today, no, it's nasty. Emma Bema, ebe bɔ ɔmo ka nti no ɛna ama meyɛ ma no sɛ mɛtɔn adeɛ na kakra bi a mɛnyɛ biara no ɛde adidi
asese no wohwɛ w'abrabɔ no a ifa na wopɛ sɛ woduru afei ifa na wopɛ sɛ wohu sɛ wode w'abrabɔ bɛkɔ akɔsi
sisi a na mete apa adeɛ mepɛ sɛ menya adwuma papa bi yɛ mepɛ sɛ metɔn adeɛ ɛwɔ me wiase a mebaeɛ adeɛ tɔn na mepɛ sɛ metɔn menya ade tɔn a ɛno ano no ɛni haw biara me maame a ɔwɔ me ɔyɛ ba ɔtɔn baayerɛ me so mede esi me ne so sɛ mesɔre a mɛtɔn baayerɛ ne saa
Discovering the world before this world. A world
Pasha Marie Mas.
uncovered with rhyme. It gets no realer.
We born on know
Busy points me to a popular joint in Kokumba called the Kokonsa Bar, a place where teenage girls usually gather to solicit clients. Manuel is a resident DJ at the Kokonsa Bar. He is a talented rapper indeed, as he inadvertently points out the interest men have in young girls in his lyrics.
mepɛ ɔba ne ho twa te sɛ Mary J ɔbɛ bia ne ho dɔkɔdɔkɔ te sɛ Sugar King kɔ uptown ne Sikin so ɔbɛde fans ne deɛ wo bia you go dey pay to hear beat here to be Kokonsa and I have a little one here and I want to do it Oba Kokonsa tonsa Uma Kokonsa tonsa one tokora tomiensa tie 99 nyom na fedi asa guess ni group Kokonsa yempembe wa Missy yempembe wa Kwame yahin wangasa hin na wo ukofa girl ya sen na obemanu.
I find Kukwa, the young girl who took me to inspect her room at the Kokumba Bar, where she sells cigarettes by day. So I engaged her in further conversation. Kukwa tells me by night she sells sex for money.
Oh, me got nana ya me king size.
Okay, I hear now ton in a day.
A day so ton a day no, Ubenya Tetigana by me mean to mean ton a day no. Me point in blade. And you blow by the Jenny Blade no mania once.
She contends with the idea of exposing what she does, but admits later on that in the face of harsh conditions in the slums, selling sex becomes an option.
You clamp on me, castle me, Yevida. I dare no sanet Obia like Kubala of Fonu, Kalano, my bamina. Someone near Jumomuya, by media, my head, me jai sister, the jot.
Maybe so, mintizo, time being pan now, jay.
Oh, me giant chair by a chin. By me no clam, me coffee. Small time, make coffee.
I'll feel I in fact.
Mine kissing.
How many years?
If you are chill, if you are chill. I understand, Madame Clamp of your mucrum. You come over. Almost send me my Mr. Membla no woman named Keke. Soon I'm with you, and I are dear meat. Send me peer banners, some banner song, Yamishia. nka ha koraa mengye ndi sɛ mebɛyɛ dɛn wɔ ha memi makɔ school awie makɔ ss me adwuma no bi si m'ani so
The
sɛ
brain
nka mpɛ sɛ meyɛ ada police anaasɛ nurse na nka mede si m'ani so a meyɛ so because of ade a me maame na ɔde yɛ me fie nti ɛna mabaa no mu meba ha no mu akyɛ paa baa ɔmo se ɔmo pɛ sɛ maame si me mbra na ohu m'anim kɛkɛ because of ade a na ɔde yɛ me no nti so me sɛ menkɔ.
Both Fumbisi and Kukua bring out an interesting revelation, which is that the family system in Ghana, which should offer children security and protection, has deteriorated. Dr. Akpabli, a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Department of Sociology, explains that excessive discipline by parents and the breakdown of the extended family system could be blamed for the increase in girls on the streets.
The family as a first point of
drain is not a new phenomenon. The brain drain is not a new phenomenon. 1/4 to half of the college-educated nationals of Ghana, Mozambique, Kenya, Nicaragua, and El Salvador choose to leave their home countries and live in OECD countries. How can these and other developing countries reverse this trend?
Tough question. You're not going to keep your people there until you create social and economic conditions for them to stay. Other things being equal, under virtually any circumstances, people will choose to stay rather than go. Think about it. Don't think as Americans. Put yourselves in the shoes of these immigrants, and you move to France. They don't like you particularly much. They speak a funny language. I'm not picking on the French, incidentally. They speak a funny language. You don't understand it, and you get lousy jobs. And on top of that, you cannot reunify with your family. What kind of a deal is this? So, other things being equal, even if you're poor, you'll stay. Number one, you have to make sure that you do better at home. We can also contribute. We can make it easier for them to go back and forth. We've learned a big lesson from China, Korea, and India in the last decade or so. We're still stuck on a migration model that says people live and they live permanently. Migrants at the high end tend to be investors. Same way that when you have an investment portfolio, you try to sort of put a little bit of money into this and a little bit of that. So in case everything sort of fails, at least you don't lose your shirt. They do the same thing. If they hear of some good opportunities or changes back home, they may start a company, perhaps initially a little bit of trading, export, import. Then it develops into something else. And we now have the phenomenon of Bangalore, or for that matter, having books being produced in the United States as of the last 3 or 4 months, in fact, some significant books, that are decrying the fact that people with skills, who either came with these skills or came and then augmented those skills, are going back to their countries. We're complaining, in other words, that some people are doing what it is that is implied in your question.